Hello everybody, welcome back. The capital ships of Star Citizen are without any doubt the most fascinating category of vessels in this very beautiful and full of promises universe. A universe that will give us the freedom to follow our own path and perform any activity we like by using one of its many vessels, one of the many different spacecrafts that exist right now in Star Citizen and will exist later. The truth is that no matter how many different vessels exist in Star Citizen, none has managed to captivate our imagination as much as the capital ships have. So today I would like to talk about capital ships, what is their role, their characteristics, what are their problems, and what makes them so fascinating and make us want to be part of their crew. They are definitely the biggest spacecrafts in the Star Citizen universe with impressive and devastating weaponry, sturdy and hard to take down, but this is not the only reason we are so fascinated with them. Deep inside, whenever we think of capital ships, we always dream of a massive space battle with multiple capital ships and a huge number of other vessels, and how cool it will be to participate in such a massive space battle. This amazing feeling is amplified by the nature of Star Citizen itself, of course, because if that ever happened, if such a battle ever happen, and believe me, it will happen, we will not participate as a spectator, we will not be controlling our vessel from the outside, but we will participate with our character in a first-person based universe for the first time, something that we have never seen before. Taking part in such a battle with our character will of course let us believe that it will be possible to affect the outcome with our action, with our performance. Whatever we do, how we perform, it's going to be important. And this is actually not far from the truth because of the way capital ships in Star Citizen are structured. They have crew members, they have a certain number of crew, and each one of these crew has to perform well in order to achieve a goal and perform a certain activity successfully. The existence of crew in Star Citizen in general, and more specifically in capital ships, is also one more reason why this category of vessels appeals to many players. And this is because players in Star Citizen are not only interested in being pilots. There are players that want to be pilot, of course, but there are also players that want to manage shields, that want to be the engineers, that want to act as marines, as security personnel. And a capital ship in Star Citizen is going to be a perfect environment for these players. Capital ships in Star Citizen will offer the highest level of teamwork, the highest level of multiplayer activity in the game. And players that are after this kind of activity, this kind of gameplay, will always try to be part of the crew of a capital ship in the game. After all, in order to achieve a certain goal as the crew of such a vessel, you will have to work with the rest of the players closely and be as efficient as possible. This is definitely something that is going to promote teamwork in the game and create bonds for the crew of each ship, especially if they play together all the time. Another factor that makes capital ships a lot more appealing to players that are more teamwork oriented, to players that want to work in a team and produce results. What are the roles that we are going to fulfill the most with these vessels? Well, let's not fool ourselves. These are warships and they are going to be used mostly in military operations by military and not only organizations. These vessels are perfect in order to project power, establish your presence, and of course show off your military might if you want to scare away not so strong opponents. Like in real life, organizations are going to use their capital ships, their military might, in order to project power for financial gains. I believe it is going to be a quite common sight to see organizations entering a new area, a new system that is full with resources, rich in resources, with their capital ships in order to show everyone around who is the boss, take control of the area, and later their industrial support divisions can follow, take advantage of the resources and generate for them profit. I also believe that we will mostly see capital ships being used all the time by bigger organizations that can deal with the logistics that are required in order to deploy these beasts, these massive vessels, and of course can maintain them successfully. But it will be also possible to see smaller organizations to operate some of these capital ships, especially the smaller one, like the Polites for example, or even use a bigger one as a mobile base for their organization if it is a small organization or if it is a small group of friends. Of course, there will always be the option to modify your capital ships, especially those that have more modular capabilities like the Javelin, and use them in a number of different activities if you can pay the cost and maintain them. The capital ships of Star Citizen don't only have advantages, but also problems. There are certain problems that you have to think before start using your capital ships extensively. And the number one problem is the high cost of maintenance. Not only cost in fuel in order to travel around and munitions for the weapons that these vessels are equipped with, but also for the fighters and the bombers they can carry, but also there is a high cost to repair these capital ships after a battle if an accident happens. It is going to be very easy to repair your fighter or even replace your space superiority fighter in case you lose a battle, but this is going to be a nightmare if it happens with a capital ship. Also, if you are a big organization or not so big organization and want to deploy capital ships for a certain operation, for a battle, the logistics are going to be a nightmare. Everything will have to be planned accordingly before any operation. You will need dedicated persons, you will need persons that can deal with these problems if you want to use your capital ships extensively and efficiently. And you don't even want to think about losing your capital ship. This is going to be a devastating blow for pretty much every organization, and it could mean the death of an organization if every little profit has gone to that capital ship. Another problem of capital ships has to do with their crew. The crew of these vessels is quite big, the biggest in the game, so you will need to fill that crew with good players or good NPC in order to use them properly to gain the most out of them. The problem here is that if you want to operate with NPC mostly, the more NPC you hire, the bigger the cost of operating with this vessel is going to be. And if you want to hire better NPC, the cost will be even bigger. But the crew of a capital ship is not only going to be a problem, can also be an asset. The better and more skilled the crew you have on your vessel, the more efficient you can operate it. It will be wise to man important stations on your capital ship like engineering, shield power management, defenses with players that you can trust and you know that are really good at their preferred activity, their preferred job, and the rest can be filled with NPC in order to reduce the cost. We now know that NPC crew is going to be as effective as players in the game, so that gives the opportunity to solo players and small organizations to use more capital ships more effectively. It also gives to bigger organizations the opportunity to flood a battlefield with a lot more capital ships if they can afford them, since it will require a lot less players than we thought it will be. In my opinion, this is something that will help mostly solo players and small or medium-sized organizations to use more capital ships without the fear of not having enough manpower. Of course, all of this will depend on the cost of the NPC crew and how many NPC you will actually need in order to run a massive starship like the capital ships in Star Citizen effectively. Obviously, each one of the capital ships that exist in the Star Citizen universe has its own unique characteristics, advantages and disadvantages. And it is exactly these special characteristics, advantages and disadvantages that make them such an interesting choice. This is pretty much everything you need to know about the capital ships and everything that you need to consider before acquiring one or before deciding to become part of its crew. I personally think capital ships in Star Citizen will have a major impact on the gameplay and will be really helpful for organizations, small and big organizations. It will be a great opportunity for everyone to participate at least for once in a battle with multiple capital ships and generally be part of the crew of one of these vessels and enjoy this type of gameplay. I would love to know if you would like to be part of the crew of a capital ship in the verse sometime later, or own one or several of these capital ships and in general enjoy this type of gameplay. And if you do, what kind of activity you would like to perform the most inside the capital ship? The pilot, the captain, shield management, or just the marine that keeps the ship secure. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. I am SquidofLove and I will see you around the verse. Bye bye.